Hello, my name's Julian Marcus. I'm a certified sex educator and sexological bodyworker. In this video, we're going to cover the three components of pleasure, or three key components that make up and contribute to a pleasurable experience. So if you imagine a pyramid, and at the top of the pyramid is meaning or agreement. So what do we mean by this? So our agreement with whoever it is that we are interacting really shapes our ability to relax. Are we co-regulating each other, or is there some indecision or ambiguity, confusion in the sexual situation? The clearer we can be about our agreements with a lover or lovers, then the easier we can drop into accessing pleasure, satisfaction, and fulfillment. The other two base points on that pyramid would be sensation and focus or awareness. So a combination of what we've agreed and what we're doing, who we're doing it with, how we feel about this person is going to be top in categorizing and framing our pleasure. And then we can all imagine that some things in life we would not want to do with certain people, and that we would be really excited to do it with our partner, girlfriend, lover, husband, or wife, for example. So the same activity and the same level of stimulation with one person would be pleasurable, and with another it would not. Another example of how context, meaning, and agreements is important is around the topic of consent. So as I mentioned just a moment ago, if we have a clear agreement, imagine playing tennis or a ball game, football, even better, on the top of a skyscraper. And if there's not a clear boundary, no edges, no barriers on the edge of that skyscraper, you're going to be very nervous about where you kick that ball, and you're not want to go too close to those edges at all. So you're going to play in a constricted area in the center. If we make a clear agreement, it's like having that fence around the edges of that skyscraper, and it allows you to know where your limits are and boundary is. So you're only going to go up to the edge of that fence and not beyond it. So we can use this in our interactions and our relationships with agreements, setting healthy limits to what it is that we're up for in any given moment. And that might change moment to moment, but if we have some clarity around what it is that we've agreed to get together and do and enjoy, this can help us to enjoy more fully a range of sensation and experience. So talking about sensation, we'll go down to the sensation part of this pyramid and three components that really contribute to satisfaction and pleasure in sexual intimacy. So there's a modern day term now called alexithymia, which is a term that describes people who have difficulty describing or noticing their emotional or feeling state. This is more and more common with so much screen time and the disconnect that we tend to have in modern society between thinking and feeling, or thinking and being. So on this channel, a lot of my practices that I bring to my clients, men and couples, is around fostering more of our felt sense. You could say feeling more to fear less. And that helps us to bridge into our sensation in the body and feel more. So one way to feel more is to relax, first of all, become receptive to our own sensation. We can do that right now by dropping into the awareness of your body as you listen to this video. So I invite you to feel the chair beneath you if you're listening, sitting on a chair, if you're lay down, feeling the support of whatever surface you're lay on. I invite you to just notice your breath, and inviting you to release the body to the in-breath, letting go of any holding in the body that you can comfortably let go of if it feels good to do so, and releasing your body to the out-breath now, softening your eyes, the muscles in the face, the jaw, the tongue, and letting go as you breathe in and out, releasing the body to each in and each out breath. And I invite you to drop your awareness, if you can, down to your pelvic floor, to the space between your hip and sits bones. Perhaps it's in contact with the chair. And as you breathe in, I invite you to tune into an expansion that is happening down into the base of the body, into the chair. As your diaphragm moves down with the inhalation, so does your pelvic diaphragm in your pelvic floor. So what we're doing here is turning up, amplifying our sensate or felt sense awareness. We can do this by slowing down, by becoming aware of our breath, and becoming conscious to any holding that is inhibiting our in and out breath. I'd like to bring your awareness to the tips and palms of your hands, tips of your fingers, to your lips, perhaps on your face, and noticing any increase in blood flow. As we relax, the blood vessels might expand, and blood flow and warmth and tingling is often experienced and becomes available to us. As does a dropping of our nervous system state into parasympathetic. So this kind of relaxed, grounded feeling. Another point to mention on these three components of pleasure when we're talking about sensation is the skin and our fascia, which is a connected matrix of feeling conscious responding tissue that runs throughout the body, is calibrated to register a certain speed of touch. And if we are self-pleasuring or we're with a partner and we're moving faster than we can feel. So I ask you this, do you often move your hand during self-love or partnered intimacy, or move your hips and genitals faster than you can really feel? Given that it's been proven that there's a certain speed that the skin can register, and if there's friction and speed beyond that, we're not really feeling what's going on, and we can in fact numb our sensation. So in order to emphasize and grow our capacity to experience pleasure, it can be really, really good to slow down again by half, slow down even more until we're moving at a speed where we can really feel. And in terms of our arousal, when we slow down like that, we can experience pleasure with very little movement at all. And for those people who are experiencing erectile challenges, there can be a lot of pleasure with a flaccid penis, with self-touch and partnered touch. So the amount of pleasure possible to experience is not dependent on an erection. The other thing that's important about this is the other pole over here is our focus. So we can learn to expand our experience of pleasure by bringing our finely attuned awareness to what's going on. And these two sides of this pyramid help us to do that, because as we focus and slow down, these two aspects support each other. So this might look like agreeing with your partner to have some slow sensual touch, to explore their body or have them explore yours in a deliberate and conscious savoring practice. And if you're receiving touch, you can really ask them to slow down, and you can slow down and notice the sensation. And we can map our arousal. Arousal for many people looks like excitation, building and climbing very fast, and often fast through many layers of lower arousal levels. When we focus our attention and increase our awareness, and therefore develop more sensation in those lower levels of arousal, we can enjoy a rich and varied experience far before many of us would even register that we're aroused. So I invite you to a practice now of waking up your hands. I invite you to take an object from your surroundings, put a cushion on your lap, and close your eyes. So as you take the object from your surroundings and sit back down, your mind is probably first of all going to name the object. Oh, this is a spoon, it's a stone, it's a crystal. And let your mind get those distractions or inevitable naming, mind knowing things out of the way. So it's one thing to know this object. I'm going to invite you now to have an experience of it. So this is moving from our known relationship of, oh, this object is so-and-so and it sits over there in my room, down to now having a tangible, sensual experience with your object. So important also to mention, have your back resting against the chair, eyes open or closed, whichever you feel more comfortable with. And just let the object rest still in your hands. How much information can you get from this object with it just sitting on your hands? What's the temperature like? Is it smooth or rough to the touch? Is it heavy or light? Take a deep breath and relax again, releasing the body to each in-breath and out-breath. Remember to take in lots of oxygen. And starting to move, exploring this object. You might use the object to massage your hand. Slowly remembering to emphasize the sensation by slowing down and by dropping your awareness into the palms of your hands, waking up your hands. And as we're doing this, we're waking up our receptivity and dropping into our felt sense of our body. Using your hands to explore all surfaces of the object. First of all, you're gathering information. How does this thing move? Does it have moving parts? Does it have rough or smooth edges? Be curious and exploratory with your touch. And then inviting you to explore what feels pleasant. Is there a possibility of pleasure here with this inanimate object? If you're following that pleasure, what would feel even more pleasurable? Is it a certain angle, a certain pressure, a certain speed, and a certain part of that object, or a certain part of your hand? Explore touching the reverse of your hand, the backside, the webbing between your fingers, the edges of your fingers. And touching the hand with the object and exploring the object with your hand or hands. Releasing the body to each in-breath, releasing the body to the out-breath. Noticing if your state is changing, your level of relaxation, the depth of your breath. How are you feeling inside? What are you noticing? If you're doing this practice, I invite you to share in the comments below. What did you notice? What are you noticing? Or what did you notice during this practice? How did you feel when you began? And how are you feeling coming out of the practice? So I invite you to put that object down and get another object. And again, come into stillness, have a pillow on your lap, back against the chair. With the back against our chair, this invites us into our parasympathetic, our rest and digest, our receptivity and relaxations, part of our nervous system. If we're forwards and not supported by the chair, this puts us more into sympathetic and doing mode and up into our mind. So it's really important to have a wall or a bed or the back of a chair whilst doing this practice. So feeling up your second object now, I invite you to feel any contrast in how it feels. Again, naming the object with your mind, its function, how you came to have it, anything that's flooding into your mind right now. And then get into your curiosity, your playfulness, your child and beginner's mind, and start to feel the object and gather information about how it works, how it feels, what's its temperature. Is it rough or smooth, heavy or light? Remembering to breathe, releasing the body, any tension in the body and arms on each in-breath, releasing the body on the out-breath. And if it feels good to do so, getting curious about how can I massage this object against my hand, or my hand explore this object in a way that's pleasant or pleasurable. Can you give yourself permission to enjoy, to feel and reach for pleasure as you explore this object? Finding its edges, its sounds, and opening your hands to experience pleasure, to create a relationship with this object that is pleasurable. And remember what I said about speed, and are you moving faster than you can feel? I invite you to slow down and slow down further so that you can really feel and enjoy the sensation under your skin. And you can continue this with a third or further objects. For now, I'll invite you to bring that movement to a close. Place your object away and just resting the hands on the pillow for a moment. Now would be a good time to pause the video and write in the chat below what you're noticing as you bring this practice to a close. And feeling the echo of the touch in your hands. What do you notice there? Can you still feel the touch or pressure from your object? And what does it feel like in your hands right now? So here's an example of those three components of pleasure that we were talking about. We had, to begin with, a meaning and context. We're doing a practice with ourselves called waking up the hands. So we have a clear frame for this exploration. And then we've slowed down with the breath, slowed our movement down, and brought our focus to our sensation. So we've utilized these three components that really accentuate and add to a richer and deeper experience of satisfaction when it comes to pleasure with ourselves or with a partner. And this translates directly to the way that we touch ourselves and our partner. If we get really good at slowing down and feeling more, then the way we touch ourselves can be radically changed forever. Rather than following habit and the way that we always pleasure ourselves, we can find new ways and new types of touch that can feel exquisite, even if slow and different to what we're used to. And when we come to be with another, if we get good at waking up our hands, at drinking in sensation through our hands, then the experience for our lover is that we are giving a quality of presence and touch that they perhaps have never felt before. And we receive a lot more sensation in our hands and therefore feel a lot more. It can be really enjoyable, like drinking a milkshake, savoring the sensations through our hands when we bring this level of presence and noticing to the way that we touch ourselves and others. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one, and please share your comments below about how it was to explore this waking up the hands practice exploring these three components of pleasure. If you feel to work with me one-to-one, please check out the link in the top of this channel. You can visit my website there or get access to my group men's coaching program. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.